Students are slowly joining in. Maybe 1 minute. We will wait. Chat window is also open for me, so you can drop any doubts if you have. If you do have any doubts, you can drop a message, or you can switch on your microphone and speak. Okay, time is running out, so students are slowly joining in. We will start the class. All right. Once again, very good afternoon to everybody, and I'm going to start the session. So, as you know, today is our programming seventh session, which means we're going to spend the 7th hour on the programming subject. And I think the first and second days we were doing theory subjects, which means the software development life cycle and some theory part we discussed. That 2 hours were gone. And after that, we have spent about 4 hours, minimum 4 hours that we have spent on Python programming. The very first class, we learned about how to set up the environment and what sort of software that you need to create your Python programs and work with them, and what sort of things the Python software or Python programming language can do, so on and so forth. So from there, we started slowly. Slowly, we learned about variables, naming conventions. We learned how to print them. So after that, we learned about how to work with strings. It was an interesting lesson. We spent about 1 hour on strings, and we learned about what are strings, how to print values of strings, how to format strings. That was an interesting lesson that we did, and different types of formatting methods were there. String format function was there, and you were using F strings. We will be using them continuously in the project. Anyways, in our program. Apart from that, we were using what is that variables we learned, strings we learned, and string methods we learned a lot of string. I have the program here, so we learned about a lot of functions, built-in functions, which comes with the Python language, which you can directly work with the programming, which means string values, and you can get a lot of work out of this. All right, okay. Having said that, this was the previous, not last week, previous week. And the last week we learned on lists, okay, lists. Well, a list is in programming languages like Java and PHP, and if you take C++, C language, we have things called arrays. In a short form, if I'm saying, all these things are known as data structures inside the computer's memory, how data is maintained. Well, when it comes to Python is providing you several data types, actually data structures. Out of that, list data structure is more similar to arrays in programming languages like Java, PHP, and JavaScript. Okay, so this is what we learned last week. We spent quite about 1 hour on this one, and we learned thoroughly about lists. I hope you would have practiced. Some of you would have practiced it. Anyways, if you had practiced it, that is really awesome. Even if you didn't practice it, if you're just learning for the knowledge, okay, anyways, work with me, no problem. And we need to understand, we learned a lot of things that we can do with the list items, list. Well, we don't have to spend again the whole lot of time explaining the same thing again, right? Around 3 minutes, 4 minutes, I just took to explain you what we have learned so far or in the previous lessons. Because soon after I start the class, directly I can't, okay, today's our lesson is this one, and start coding. It's not like that, right? Okay. Today I have a small lesson. If possible, let's see whether we can do 2 lessons today. I'm not sure, but we will try our level best. First lesson, I'm going to start you. Then after that, we will move on from there. Okay. Let's close this one. And today is going to be demo 7. And so it's going to be demo 7. Demo 7, which is going to be, today I'm going to teach you about functions. Okay. Functions. So we will see what you mean by functions and what functions can do, and how interesting it is to work with functions. Okay. Right. Well, when you want to work with functions, let me first of all give you what is a function and why we use functions for. Right, so we were going to work with functions, right? Let's, as usual, let's put a note on that. Okay, what do you mean by functions? Okay. Um, like this. So a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. I will explain you when I'm creating sample functions for you. Okay, please feel free to talk to me. If you don't understand anything, talk to me. Okay. Last couple of weeks, no one asked me to explain in Tamil or Sinhala. If you really do want me to explain something in Tamil or Sinhala, okay, tell that also. I will try my level best to explain you. But okay, so far I'm using very simple English. Hope you're understanding it. 1 second, please. 1 second, please. Couldn't answer that. Right. Doesn't matter. Let's continue. I will explain you first of all, what is this? A function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. So we're going to learn the syntax. By the way, syntax means the rule of the programming language, the way that you're going to write the code. For example, if I'm using English, if you are able to understand what I'm speaking to you, that is of two reasons. Because for the correct places, at the correct places, I may be using the correct words. Not only that, if you take any language, we have something called grammar, right? The rule of that language. So we have to follow that and do it. In that way, if you use a language, you can correctly convey a message. If you are using a language like English, Sinhala, Tamil, Urdu, whatever the language, human languages, it is uh, what do you call it? If you want to correctly convey a message, you have to correctly use the grammar. For example, let's say tomorrow I want to go to school. So you say tomorrow I went to school. So that's totally wrong because the past tense or future tense of go will be going, right? So so that those all those things coming in something called grammar. Just like that, if the computer needs to correctly understand the instructions that you are writing using a programming language, at this time we are using Python programming language. So we need to respect the rules of Python programming language and create the codes. Okay. So let's see how we can create a function in Python. Then it says in Python, we do not use parentheses and curly braces or curly brackets. We use indentation with the tab spaces. So this when I'm coding, I'm going to demonstrate, right? Okay, without further delay, let's get started. Let's see how we can create a simple function. Okay, I like to put always comments. So when you read the code, it will be very useful for you. Let's say create function. So how to create a function? Let's see how we can do that. Right now let's see. First thing what we do is, if it is, for example, watch this. If it is Java, right? So you will create a function or a method. We call it in Java. We call this one as, um, let's say public void. Let's say we want to say something like, say hello. Right. So this is Java, okay? You don't need this. I'm just showing you. So comparatively, you will understand. So this is how you will write a method in Java, or you will write a basic function in Java. Right. Let's take a look at PHP. In PHP, if you want to write uh, a function, we call that as a function in PHP. You directly use the word function, just like in JavaScript. Some of you might know JavaScript. So function, directly you can say hello. And if you're expecting something, you can put with the $sign, you can put a variable name and you can say echo. You can say hello and you can directly put name here because PHP can directly process if you use variable names with $sign and within double quotations. That is PHP syntax. Well, just like that, you can do it in other languages like C programming, C++, and other programming languages also having this basic type of coding style that is functions. Okay. Okay, there's a request to explain in Tamil also, right? So I will explain that in Tamil as well, right? Okay, I did not start to explain what is a function yet, right? Function அப்படின்னு சொல்றது வந்து ஒரு கோட ஒரு பகுதி, அதாவது ஒரு கோட் செக்மெண்ட் உண்டு. நாங்கள் இது மாதிரி ஒரு பீஸ் ஒன்று எழுதுவோம் பைத்தன் லாங்குவேஜில். அந்த கோடை வந்து எங்களுக்கு அந்த பேரை குறிப்பிட்டு ரன் பண்ண வைக்கலும். அதை தான் செய்ய போகிறோம். நாங்கள் இப்போ பார்ப்போம் அதோட நன்மை என்ன அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. ஒரு பீஸ் ஆஃப் கோடு உண்டு, சின்ன கோடு உண்டு, செக்மெண்ட் உண்டு. அதை நாங்கள் ஒரு பேர் ஒன்று கொடுப்போம். அந்த பேரை வந்து கால் பண்ணி எங்களுக்கு ரன் பண்ண வைக்கலாம். இது நீங்கள் கவனிக்கிறது வந்து ஜாவாவில் எழுதியிருக்கிற ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன், அப்படி இல்லைன்னா மெத்தட்னு சொல்லுவோம் ஜாவாவில். இது கீழே உள்ளது வந்து பிஹெச்பியில் நாங்கள் எழுதின ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் உண்டு, அப்படி இல்லைன்னா மெத்தட் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம். நாங்கள் பிஹெச்பியில் வந்து மெத்தட் அப்படின்னு யூஸ் பண்ணுறதில்ல, நாங்கள் வந்து ஃபங்க்ஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். பைத்தன்லேயும் வந்து நாங்கள் ஃபங்க்ஷன் அப்படின்னு தான் சொல்லுவோம். சரியா? இப்போ நாங்கள் கீழே இப்படி செஞ்சு பார்ப்போம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. කාටහරි සිංහලෙන් ඕන නම් ඒකත් දාන්න මම කියන්නම්, ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ. ටැමිල් වලින් එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න කියපු හින්දා මම එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරා. හරිද? right, okay. Right. So we will see how we can do the next part. Right. In order to create a function in Python, you use the keyword def. Def stands for definition or defining, okay? Def, okay? Def. Then you have to use the name of a function. When you use a name for a function, usually a function does something. A function will do some work. Therefore, what we have to do is we need to make sure we give not a noun, we use a verb. அதாவது டெஃபினேஷனுக்கு, அதாவது ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு நாங்கள் பேர் கொடுக்குற நேரம் வினை சொல் ஒன்று தான் கொடுக்கணும், பெயர் சொல் நாங்கள் கொடுக்கப்படாது. சரியா? ரைட். உதாரணமாக இப்போ நாங்கள் எப்படி சொல்லுவோம், சே ஹலோ அப்படின்னா ஈஸியாக தான் செஞ்சுட்டு போகிறேன். ரைட், சே ஹலோ. This is the function. And this is accepting a parameter as well. So like this, name. And you have to use colon like this. And when you press the enter key, you can see there is a gap here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 gaps are there. So by default, it's coming. If you don't have a gap, it is wrong. Okay. So we're going to say print. We'll say hello. And we can say whatever the name that you like. I like to use the F string, right? So F string. So I like to use single quotes again. Like this, F string. Hello. Hello. This name. Like this we put. Print, right? Like this. Now, since we have this coding inside our program, okay? This is inside the program. The program name is demo4_functions.py. The first comment says, it says a function is a block of code. Yes, it is a piece of code. I have actually written 2 lines. We can write some very advanced functions which can do serious kind of work. But here I am not using any of those. I'm just writing very simple type of a code. It will just print the word hello along with the name that we supplied. Then it says which only runs when it is called. So we will see when we run what happens, right? I'm going here and let me check whether I can run that. I have to type Python space name of the program demo7_functions.py, and I press enter key. Well, you can see the prompt comes to the next line. It comes to the next line. You can see it comes to the next line. There is no output came. Though this code has been written inside the project, which means inside your file, it didn't run. Okay. So if you want to run this function, if you want to make this code run, you have to write the code in, right? So if you leave this space like this, if you write here, it is the instruction which is belonging to the function. அதாவது நீங்க இதுல கட்டாயம் ஸ்பேஸ் வச்சு ஆகணும். ஸ்பேஸ் வச்சு நீங்க கோட் பண்ற நேரம் அந்த கோடின் வந்து இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு உரிய කෝඩාහ කරදපඩු. ඔයා ස්පේස් එකක් තියලා මේම ටයිප් කරුත් තමයි ඒ කෝඩ් එක මෙන්න මේ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකේ මේ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකට අදාළ කෝඩ් එක විදියට හඳුනාගන්නේ. ඒ හින්දා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මෙතන ස්පේස් 4ක් අපි තියෙනවා. ස්පේස් අඩු වුණාට එරර්ස් එන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් එක ස්පේස් එකක්වත් නැත්තම් එරර්ස් එනවා. අඩු ගානේ එක ස්පේස් එකක් හරි තියන්න ඕනේ. දැන් අපි එකක් නෙවෙයි තියන්නේ. මම එකපාරක් ටැබ් එක ප්‍රස් කරනවා. ஒரு முறை ටැබ් பிரஸ் பண்றேன். tab பிரஸ் பண்ணினேன்னு சொன்னா என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு சொன்னா 4 ஸ்பேசஸ் பிரஸ் பண்றதுக்கு சமன். அதாவது 4 ஸ்பேசஸ்ட இடைவெளியை இங்க விடுது. அதுக்கு அப்புறம் என்ன செய்யணும்ன்ற இன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் இங்க வருது. මම හිතනවා ඒක පැහැදිලි ඇති කියලා ඔයාලට. දැන් මම නැවතත් කෝඩ් එක අර පැත්තට indent කරා. I have indented my code totally to the left side. You can see it is along with the line. Now here is the place I should call the function. Okay. So let's see how we can call the function. It is very simple. What you do is you say hello, right? And within this, you can just supply a name, whatever you like. Let's give something like John Doe. Okay, John Doe. Now actually the output should come as hello John Doe. That should be the output. Now we will run the project and see. I have saved my project. That means the file. I will run it once again. Right, that is the command. You can see Python demo7 underscore functions dot Python. Right, so let's run that. So you can see it says hello John Doe. Right, now let's say you want to greet another person. You want to say hello to, say, let's say Sarah Williams. So let's say another name we'll take. So you just type, say hello, and you just give the name. That's it, right? So let's say Sarah Williams. Okay, so let's run that. Now this time when you run, you will get two outputs. There we go, right? So this function is designed to do this work. What is the work it is doing? It will print the value hello along with the name that you give. That is the work this function is designed to perform, or it is designed to do. சரியா? This is the very basic of a function. මේක තේරුණාය පොඩ්ඩක් අත උස්සන්න. இது විලංගිනාක கொஞ்சம் கைய தூக்குங்க. Those who understood this, please raise your hand. So I know that up to this point you understood. Okay, Shuhada understood, right? Okay, migration understood. Let me see. We have around 439 students in the class. Quite a bunch of students have. Okay, 9 people know understood. Others, මත්තවங்களுக்கு වෙලංගල්ලේ අනිත් ළමයින්ට තේරුන්නේ නැද්ද ඒ කියන්නේ? 10ක් විතර තේරිලා නේද? අනිත් ළමයින්ට තේරුන්නේ නැද්ද? 125යි තේරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ 9යි කියන්නේ නැත්නම් 10යි කියන්නේ කොටසකට තමයි තේරලා තියෙන්නේ. எல்லாருக்கும் விலங்கல்லையா அது? விளங்கினேன்னு சொன்னா கையை உயர்த்துங்க. அப்பதான் எனக்கு பார்த்து கொள்ளலும். சரி. right. අපි ඉස්සරහට කරගෙන යමු. කවුරුත් තේරුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කිව්වේ නෑනේ නේද? තේරුනේ නැති කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවනම් thumbs down එකක් දාන්න. හරිද මේම? නැත්නම් අර වෙන මොන හරි බලකුණක් දාන්න. விலங்கல்லைன்னு சொல்றாக்கள் வந்து thumbs down ஓட போடுங்க. நான் பார்த்துக்கொள்றேன். அப்ப எனக்கு விலங்கும் யாருக்கு விலங்கலைன்னு சொல்லி. ரைட் ஓகே. எல்லா கையும் கீழ இறக்குங்க எல்லாரும். ஓகே ரைட் சரி. சரி. இப்போ நாங்க அடுத்தது பார்ப்போம். We will see the next part. So I hope you understood the lesson, right? I take your feedback seriously because whether you understood or not. Okay, right. Nice. Let's see what the next what is happening. Function with default arguments, right? Now இப்போ பாருங்க இன்னொரு விஷயம் நாங்க செய்வோம். තව පොඩි දෙයක් කරලා බලමු. අපි function එකක් sir අද join උනේ කලින් video ටික බැලුවොත් තේරෙනවා. sir අද join උනේ කලින් video ටික බැලුවොත් තේරෙනවද කියලා අහනවද අවදා? මානව දයා කියලා දාලා තියෙනවා. හරි. ඔව් පුතා කලින් වීඩියෝස් ටික බලන්න. එච්චර සීරියස් නෑ මේක. ඒ කියන්නේ ආට පිළිවෙලකට වීඩියෝස් ටික බැලුවොත් එම සෙෂන් 1 එකේ ඉඳලා පැය 6යිනේ යන්නේ ඔයාලට වීඩියෝස් ටික බලන්න. පැය 6ක් යන්නේ නැත්නම් ස්කිප් කර බලන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. ඒක මැඩම්ගෙන් ඉල්ල ගන්නවා. මෙතන තක්ෂිලා මැඩම් ඉන්නවා මම හිතන්නේ. මැඩම්ගෙන් ඉල්ලගෙන ඔයා පුතා කරලා බලන්න. හරිද? එතකොට ඒක තේරෙනවා. එච්චර අමාරු නෑ මේක. right? okay. තේරුම් නැත්නම් ඩවුට් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ කියලා දෙන්න. right. okay. right. අපි කරගෙන යමු ඉස්සරහට. okay. let's see how we can do that. right. එක්කෙනෙක් දාලා තියෙනවා තේරුම් නැහැ කියලා. කවුද බලමු. ரிஃப்லா உங்களுக்கு விலங்கில்லையா? ரிஃப்லாக்கு விலங்கில்லை. right. okay. பார்த்து கொண்டிருங்க விளங்கவும் கவனிங்க பார்ப்போம். right. சரி. මමත් අද ආවේ කලින් වීඩියෝ ටික බැලුවා. මම අර පරණ හෑන්ඩ් එක ෂෙයා කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? පුතා මේමයි මම හෑන්ඩ් ටික හැමදාම ෂෙයා කරනවා. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ මම කලින් එක ෂෙයා කරන්න. දැන් අද එකේ තව වැඩිපුර තියෙනවා කොටස් ටිකක්. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ chapter එකකින් chapter එකකින් දෙන්නේ මම කලින් එක දෙන්නම් ඔයාලට. හරිද? ක්ලාස් එක ඉවර වෙන්න ලඟ වෙනකොට පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්නකෝ. නැත්නම් මැඩම්ගෙන් ඉල්ල ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. මම දැන් ක්ලාස් එක අතරමැදනේ ඉන්නේ. තව චුට්ට එක මතක් කරන්න මම දැම්මේ නැත්නම් මම දාන්නම් ඔයාලට පොඩ්ඩක්. හරි. Okay. Right. So let's see how we can do. Right. Now see there is something wrong. Right. Now let's say hello. Say hello. And you just don't pass any parameters. Okay, you don't pass any parameters, which means actually this function is designed to accept a name. So you should say hello, someone's name you have to mention here. Now here in line number 13, you can see I have just typed say hello, open close parenthesis. That's all. I have not given any values. So in this case, when we run, see what happens. Well, we're going to get an error message. So we are getting an error message saying that type error, say hello, missing one required positional argument. The argument is name, which means one parameter you did not pass, which means one argument you did not give. So that is why the error is coming, right? Now let's assume we don't want to mention anybody's name. We want to just say hello everyone, or hello all, something like that you want to print if you do not give a name, right? Or else the default name you want to give. If you don't give something, it says hello Sam, right? Okay, so let's see how we can define the function, right? So this time I think I will have to comment the code, right? Let me comment the code and do it. Now let's see. I will select the whole thing. I'm going to press Control key and backslash. You can see I have all, I'm sorry, not backslash, forward slash. So I have commented the whole thing. And when you're practicing, you can select the whole thing once again and hold the same thing, Control key and backslash. It will uncomment the code. You can good to go. You can practice. All right. I'm going to keep it commented like this, and I will demonstrate to you. Right. Okay. So this method is called default functions, right? So let's say function with default arguments. Function with default arguments, right? Let's put this, right? We'll say def, def, we'll say hello, right? Say hello. We say name is assigned the value. We give a name like Sam. Okay. Def, say hello, Sam. Right. Now here we say print. We're going to put a F string, right? So we'll say hello, right? Hello, and we'll put name here. Okay. So it's not different from the line number 7, except that in line number 14, I have name is assigned the value. For Sam, I have given. So I have given a predefined value for this. So what will happen is when I run this program, if I forget to give a value or parameter or an argument, it will use the default value Sam, right? So it will just say hello Sam. Now see here, when I say hello, and here we will say hello, we'll say Harin. Say, let's say someone's name is Harin, and you give say hello Harin, and if you run this, oh sorry, let's clear that and let's run this one. There we go. There is a error coming. Okay, I missed the colon here. I'm sorry. You have to give the colon here when you're defining your function. So it's a must that you give the colon, right? Now we have done that part. Now what we do is we will execute the project or the file and see once. There we go. And it says hello Harin. So this is not different from the previous one. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to delete this. Let's comment that and let's call it like this. Say hello only. There is no parameters I'm passing. There is no parameter I'm passing. So when I run this one, I should get the value hello Sam. Right? Okay. Now watch this. There we go. It says say hello Sam, right? I did not say any specific name. I just said blank. Say hello only. So this default value has been taken and it has been used, right? So that is how you write functions which can do some work and functions that accept parameters as well, right? We can do a calculation and all, but I'm keeping things very simple. Let's do another one, right? Let's do another one. So I'm going to teach you one more thing. Let's see, we will do another function, okay? Right, let's do another function. This function I'm going to teach you under something called returning values. Functions can return a value, okay? Functions value on return pannalam, right? Return values, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So let's see how it's done. I'm going to create a function, right? Okay. TAF, you know that we must write it. TAF definition. Let's say now when something is returning, we definitely use the word get. Okay, we use the word get. It's a tradition, or it's a, how do you say? It's a good practice that developers we are using. Get, and we use get sum. You know, in English, the normal word sum represents total. Okay, so get sum, and we will give here num1 is the number one, and num2 number one and number two, and I should not forget to put the colon here. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to give what I should do, right? Let's say total is assign the value num1 is added with num2. Num1 is added with num2. Right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say return. I'm not going to print anything, right? So I'm going to say return total. Okay, so total. Right, now we are down here. This is a function, and you all know that if you call a function only, it's going to do the work, right? Since I have not called this function, it's not going to do any work, right? So let's call the function and see what we can do, right? How to call the function? What is the name of the function? Get sum. So we're going to give get sum. Let's see, I want to find out the total of 50 and 25. Let's say I want to find the total of 50 and 25. Now I'm going to run this program. I'm going to run this program, and you will not see no output, right? You will see no output. And I will explain you why. See, when I'm executing the program, only the previous code, this is running, this is working, and hello Sam part coming. After that, there is no output has come. But actually, we should have got the output as 75 because total is 75. I did not get that, right? For that reason is, when you write a function to return a value, when you use the return keyword, right, it will do the calculation. It will do the calculation, which means 50 and 25 are getting added. So when you call the function, it comes here. Number one is representing 50. Number two is representing 25. And inside the function, what is happening? 50 is getting added with 25, which results in 75. Okay, so 75 gets stored in a variable called total, and down here in 23rd line, we say a return. We don't put something like print. We just say return. And what do we say? Return, we say total. When we say return total, what's happening? It is giving back that value to the place where you're calling, right? So I should take it something like this. Let's say if I put answer, ANS is assign the value, get sum. Now, this function, whatever the value it returns, it gets stored in a variable called answer. And I can print the answer, right? Like this. It's very simple. So it should display the value 75. Okay, now let's run the program and see. There you can see 75 is displayed, right? So that is pretty simple to understand. I hope you understood this one. Okay. Right. So let's do this one again a little bit. We can use this one without storing in a variable. Inside a print command, you can directly call a function like this. Let's say you say print, and you don't use the variable name. You say get sum, within the parenthesis get sum. I'm going to give a name. I'm going to give a number 500 comma 250. 500 comma 250. right? 500, 250. Now this is the values. Now when I run this program, sorry for that. Let's run that. There you can see first 75, that is from here. 75 is getting stored in the variable answer, and answer is getting displayed. But when it comes to line number 27, you can see we are not using any variables directly inside the print command. Directly inside the print command, I am just calling a function. This is also possible. Just like you give a variable, you can even call a function inside the print command. So it will do this work, and whatever the value returned will be displayed in the screen, right? Okay, මම මේක පොඩ්ඩක් කෙටියෙන් සිංහලෙන් පැහැදිලි කරලා ඉන්නම්. අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙන අය පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න සිංහලෙන් කියන්න ඕනද කියලා. தமிழ்ல சொல்ல வேணும்டா கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க, டக்குன்னு சொல்லுங்க. Right? Okay, no one needs in Tamil or Sinhala, so we can proceed, I guess. Right, okay. Let's go for the next part. Under functions, that is what we need to do, students. Let's do something different now. Okay. We can do one more function just to practice. Okay. We will do one more function here. Right. I'm going to create a function here. I can create all the functions at the top, then I can call them. But since I'm just practicing with you or just demonstrating to you, I will show it here, right? Okay. So, you know, DEF, and you have to give a name for the function. Let's say find average or get average, right? Get average. So this time I'm going to give three numbers, n1, n2, n3, right? So we give three numbers, and we should not forget the colon. Then after that, we need to do what actually we need to do, right? So let's say average is assigned the value. You know, n1 is added with n2, again added with n3, and divided by 3. Actually, you need to make use of the BODMAS theory here, because division has more precedence than addition. So the value of n3, first it will be divided by 3, and that answer will be added with n2 and n1, which will result in a wrong answer. In order to avoid that, you have to use the brackets or the parentheses here, like this. Therefore, n1 added with n2, again added with n3, this will find a total. That total value will be divided by 3. Therefore, you will be getting the value, the average. Okay, right? So we can either print the average, and I actually like to return the average. I will write return AVG. Okay, now we need to test that function. So let's see how we can test the function. I'm going to write, let's give what else? What shall we do? Let's try that. We'll put it inside first we will use a variable, okay? Okay, AV, we'll give just a variable name AV is assign the value, get average, yes, open parenthesis, and it's asking n1, you can give any value, n2, you can give any value, as well as n3, you can give any value. Right, let's give the first value as averaged, right? So let's give 740, 255, 310. So we have three numbers here. Then we can print the value and see, okay, what happens. I would like to put a string here, right? Average is AB. Okay, like this. Right now, let's run the program and see. Student count is reducing. It was 40 students. Now it has come to 37. Don't know whether you are having bad weather there. Let's run the project and see, right? So whether we can get the average of these three numbers, right? There we go. Average is so there's a number coming, right? So let's type something else. So there are point values as well. It's possible. So it's nicely coming. Right. Hope you got a very good understanding on how to create functions, right? In Python, how to create functions. We learned how to create a normal function with parameter. Then we learned a function with default arguments. In case if you don't supply a parameter, the default value will be used. That's the theory behind that. And last part, we learned how a function can return a value. Okay. When you want to return a value, you use the return keyword as well. And you can either assign it to a variable when you're using, or directly you can call it inside a print command. Okay. So another example also, I just practiced with you because end of the class, I'm going to share the file with you. So you have something you can practice and see. Okay. Right. So please practice these things using your Python software. Okay. So that's the end of the functions lesson. So as I told you, it's a short lesson. We finished it. We were able to finish it within about half an hour time, right? So we're going to move on to another lesson in the class. Right, let's see what we can do next. So it's going to be demo 8, right? So next, I like to teach you about conditionals. Okay, so it's going to be very interesting. And after you learn about the conditionals, you can create programs which make decisions, and we can create some interesting programs, right? So I'm going to teach you very simple codes. All right, okay. The reason why I'm teaching you very simple codes, I want to teach you the syntax of Python along with Python programming so that you can apply the knowledge that you are gaining here to solve a little bit advanced programs or intermediate level programs later once you learn Python. Okay, now I'm going to write demo 8, and it's going to be conditionals, right? .py, conditionals.py, right? Now here, right? Let's learn about conditionals. Can someone say what is the condition? What is a condition? Condition එකක් කියන මොකද්ද? කොන්දේසියක් කියන මොකද්ද? නිබන්ධනය அப்படின்னு එන්නාද? Anyone would like to switch on your mic and speak? Yes. All passive listeners, no active learners. Anyone who like to speak? What is a condition? Oh, come on. Why there's so much of silence? අද මොකද ඔක්කොමලා ඩිම් වෙලා කතා කරන්නේ නැහැනේ කවුරුත්. වෙනදට ප්‍රශ්න අහන අයත් නෑ වගේද? If condition. Suleha have put. Conditionals means what I'm asking. So I was just asking from you some idea. Okay, maybe if you're not having any idea, it's also fine. Let me explain to you very simply. Right. Okay. Right. This is what we're going to learn. And I will directly come to the lesson. Right. So if you read and see, we write if else conditions. Okay, we're going to write I will see, Suyada, but what I have already explained, I can't explain it again. F string. So we will see. That's a big lesson we did neither. Watch the video. I have step by step, I'm showing that. Right, okay. So another person have Swetha Samarkond දාලා තිනවා rule එකක්. හරි ඒකත් හරි. Right? අපි බලමු. What we're going to do is we're going to write something like if and else conditions, right? Condition means we're going to evaluate something. There is a criteria. We're going to check. There is an eligibility testing, something we do, right? So after we test something, we can come to a conclusion whether to do something or whether not to do something. All right. That is the summary, or that is in a nutshell. What do you mean by conditions are, right? Okay, let's see how we can do that. Without further delay, let me explain that to you, right? I'm creating two variables, right? It says if else conditions are used to decide to do something based on something being true or false. When I write the codes, you will better understand this, right? It's very simple how to do. In order to understand that, let's take two variables, x and y. Let's put x10 and y5, right? So it's easy to remember values, right? So x is 10 and y is 5. Right. We will be using something called comparison operators here. I could do a lesson on comparison operators separately, but I just want to mention them here because it makes the work very quick and it's easy for us to understand, right? Comparison operators, right? Let me tell you what are these comparison operators are. Let's, because I just want this one to include there because as a note, that's it. That's why I'm including here. So I got this one for you. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Right. Well, that's how it goes. Nice. So comparison operators means, right? These special symbols in the Python programming language are used for comparisons actually. Compare பண்றேன்னு சொன்னா ஒப்பிடுறது. සිංහලෙන් අපි කියනවා සංසන්දනය කරනවා. එකක් තව දෙයක් එක්ක සංසන්දනය කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔප්පිටද compare කරලා බලනවා. ඒකට තමයි අපි මේ comparison operators පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. උදාහරණයකට for example, let's assume this is a glass and well, this is another glass, right? So they are same size. Okay, you know, well, this glass has half of the glass full and this glass has this much of water. um, right, so if you have something like this, glass A and glass B, if you have two glasses like this, and I can, based on these values, I can ask you questions, right? So let's assume uh, the glass A is having 500 milliliters, right? And this one is having around 750 milliliters. Okay. So just for your reference, I just wrote the values. Now, if I say A, the glass A having more water than the glass B. So if you see, if you want to compare something like this, if you want to test something like this and check, you are making use of special symbols like is greater than or equals to, is less than or equals to, not equals to, and equals to. These are the 6 symbols that are available for comparison or checking, comparing. All right. Well, these two can be used not only on numbers, okay, but these operators can be used only on numbers, right? Values. So this is the idea, right? So this is the basic idea of how it's going to work, right? And let's get started with the program, our program, what we have. Okay, so keep this in your mind. Hope you understand that. Right, so comparison operators are, these are the symbols, okay, right? So those are the symbols. So is equals to, is not equals to, is greater, is less, is greater or equals to, is less or equals to. Used to compare values, right? They can be used to compare values. Then it says no curly braces, we can use colon, just like definitions we're going to use next to the condition. And the relevant code should be indented. Okay. Should be indented. I'm going to explain that, how it works, right? Let's see. Okay. Let's try that. I'm going to write now like this. Let me create something like simple F. So how to write a simple if condition, which is not going to have an else part. That is what I meant by simple if. It's not going to have an else part. So I'm going to write it like this. If is a keyword in Python. Like in programming languages like Java and all, you don't have to write colons like this. It's not wrong to write, but in Python, we don't write it. Okay. So developers, we don't follow that syntax. So don't use parentheses, not necessary. Just write if you put what you're evaluating. I'm going to say X is greater than Y. And we put the colon, which means whether that is right or wrong. We don't know, right? We need to test and see. I'm going to press the enter key. Now there comes the indentation, and I'm going to say print, and I can use the F string, and colon, I can say X is greater than Y. We can give like this. So F string basically formats the string. One person asked, that's why I was saying that. Well, F string formats the string, whatever you give inside. So you put F here, and if you use curly braces, and inside that, if you name a variable's name, it instead of printing curly brace X closing curly brace, it will print 10 is greater than 5. It will print like that. So for that, we are using F strings. Make sure you have a version, Python version, which is 3.6 or above for this function to work. In earlier versions, which are prior to 3.6, this is not supported, okay? Right, let's run this and see what is the output, right? So the output is going to be like this. I have to write Python and demo 8 underscore conditionals dot py conditionals dot py, and we press the enter key. 10 is greater than 5. Okay, 10 is greater than 5. So that is what it means, right? So I like to put this one here, so it will be useful for you. I'll give you this one as a comment here. Right, keep it in your source code, because I'm going to give you these two files today, end of the class today. So you can have it as a reference, right? Okay. Next to that, right? So that is simply how it works. I can comment this and do, of course, or else I can do the next one, right? The next one I'm going to teach you is if with else, right? If with else. So we'll see if with else part. So we call that as if else, right? So we'll see first of all how it is written and what it is doing. Now we write the condition if the same thing we'll give X is greater than Y. Okay. And we check that. That's what we say. If X is greater than Y colon, that means we check whether that is true. Check it, right? Okay. And we go to the next line and we type print F string. We say X is greater than Y. So there's no problem with that. And here we can say we have to come to this level, okay, not here. If you're going to write an instruction here, that is going to be part of the if condition itself. So when you want to put the else part, you go here, else, okay? You say else, and don't forget to put the colon here, and go to the next line, else, and you type another output, right? You say print, and I will say y is greater than, right? Y is greater than x. Y is greater than x, right? Okay. So now let's run this and see what is the output. Now, this code is also going to run. So I will keep these two lines commented for a while. Okay, right. Let me comment those two lines, line number 14 and line number 15. I kept it commented. So my code is going to work. Now, please remember, X and Y is here, okay? I'm scrolling down, so I don't know whether you can see that. Actually, X is 10 and Y is 15, right? So we have to remember that when we are solving this. Anyone who didn't understand, talk to me. Make a card right? யாருக்கும் விலங்கலைன்னு சொன்னா என்ன சொல்லுங்க, நான் சொல்றேன். சரியா? Right. Now watch this. I'm sorry. I am going to change these two values, right? Now we will change the method, right? So I can do the changes here also. So it is again, we are defining the variables like, let's give different values. X is 5 and Y is 20 this time. Okay, now you know X is a small value compared to Y. Now if you check if, now X is representing 5. 5 is greater than 20. So if you put the values for these variables and if you examine, that is not correct, right? 5 is greater than 20 is not true. So this condition, if part is not true, then what we need to do? We need to go to the else part because I have written an else part. අපිට ඉල්ලාටි එහෙම නැත්තම් ඒක තමයි else එකෙන් කියන්නේ. මේ condition එක true නැහැ. ඔයා else කොටසකුත් ලියලා තිනවා. එතකොට මේක true නැති හින්දා මේක කරන්න බෑ. else කොටසක් ලියලා තියෙන හින්දා අපි else කොටසේ ලියලා තියෙන code එක execute කරනවා. இந்த true condition check பண்ணி பார்த்தோம். வேலை செய்யல. true இல்லது. அதனால else பார்ட்டுக்கு நாங்க போறோம். எல்ஸ்ல என்ன கோட் நீங்க கொடுத்துருக்கீங்களோ அந்த கோடை வந்து எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணலாம். சரி, இப்போ நாங்க ரன் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னா 20 is greater than 5 அப்படின்னு வரும். பாருங்க, 20 is greater than 5 அப்படின்னு வருது. சரியா? ரைட். So that is what I just wanted to tell you. Okay. ஸோ இது விளங்கிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன் உங்களுக்கு. சரி, இஃப் எல்ஸ் இஃப் ரைட். இன்னொன்று பார்ப்போம் நாங்கள் எப்படி செய்யறேன்னு சொல்லி. இதை முடிச்சுட்டு நான் 2 எக்ஸாம்பிள் செஞ்சு காட்டுறேன். டைம் போய் கொண்டிருக்கு. ரைட். இப்போ இன்னொரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் பார்ப்போம் நாங்கள். இன்னொன்று இருக்கு, அதுக்கு நாங்கள் சொல்றது எலிஃப் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். நாங்கள் இதை நான் கமெண்ட் பண்றேன் அதை விளங்கப்படுத்துறதுக்காக. ரைட். ஸோ ஐம் கோயிங் டு மேக் அ කමෙන්ට් කරනවා. මම ඒකට එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න ඕන හින්දා අපි බලමු එලිෆ් එක කොහොමද වැඩ කරන්නේ කියලා. එල්සිෆ් කියලා ගොඩක් චෙක් කරන්න තමයි අපි ඒක ලියන්නේ. උදාහරණයකට අපි බලමු ඔයාලට කම්බිනේෂන්ස් 3ක් තිබ්බොත් එහෙම. ඒ කියන්නේ ක්‍රයිටීරියා 3ක් ඉවැලුවේට් කරන්න උනොත් එහෙම. அதாவது எங்களுக்கு வந்து க்ரைட்டீரியா 3 வந்து 3 வந்து எங்களுக்கு வந்து இவாலுவேட் பண்ண வேண்டி வந்தன்னு சொன்னா அப்ப நாங்க யூஸ் பண்ற வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்டைலை யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். ரைட். ஸோ சிம்பிள் இஃப் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம், இஃப் வித் எல்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம். இப்போ நாங்க என்ன யூஸ் பண்றோம்னா எல்ஸ் இஃப். ரைட். சரி, எப்படி இப்போ யூஸ் பண்ணணும் பாருங்க. எலிஃப். ரைட். எலிஃப். ஸோ இதுக்கு ஒரு நோட் இருக்கு. நான் அந்த நோட்டை தாரேன் உங்களுக்கு என்னன்னு சொல்லி. මේකට note එකක් තියෙනවා. පොඩි note එකක් මම මේකෙම දානවා. When you have more than 2 criteria to evaluate, you can use elif. So මම ඒක ඔයාලට type කරලා තිබ්බ එතන පොඩ්ඩක් බලා ගන්න. right. Okay. So අපි කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා බලමු. So we will see how it is done. අපි කියමු දැන් x සහ y, x and y having the same value. X is 5, y is also 5. X is 5, y is also 5. Both are having the same value, right? So in that case, when you write if, අපි check කරනවා හරි message එක දාන්න ඕනේ. X is more than y, or else y is more than x, or else x is equivalent to y. So we're going to do either of these 3 situations. So let's see how we can do that part, right? So I'm going to write the first one. I don't want the parentheses. Sorry. If x is greater than y, in this case, I'm going to say printf. I'm going to say x is greater than y. X is greater than y. Okay, that could be true. We don't know, right? Now we'll type elif, not else if. Okay, elif. Elif. After this, I need to write the condition. What is the condition? Elif y. I will say x is equals to y. X is equals to y. We don't know. It could be true. But then we say print f. We say, well, x is equals to y, which is 5 is equals to y. In our situation, this situation, it is true. ඔය ළමයි ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරද්දී කෝඩ් එක උඩ ඉඳලා ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න. நீங்க ප්‍රැක්ටිஸ் பண்ற நேரம் கோடை வந்து மேல இருந்து டைப் பண்ணி ප්‍රැක්ටිஸ் பண்ணுங்க. அப்ப வந்து கீழ வர நேரம் மேல உள்ளத කමෙන්ට් பண்ணிட்டு ප්‍රැක්ටිස් பண்ணலாம். ඒ කියන්නේ පහළට එනකොට උඩ තියෙන කොටස ඔයගලන්ට කමෙන්ට් කර ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? මම කියන එක තේරෙනවා කියලා මම හිතනවා. දැන් ඉතින් ඊට පස්සේ ළමයි අපි කරන්නේ else එකක් අන්තිමට දානවා. මේ මුකුත්ම නැත්තම් එහෙමත් නෙවෙයි නම් අපි අන්තිමට ලියනවා else එකක් දානවා. අපි ලියනවා print කියලා ලියනවා f අපි දාමු මෙතන y is greater than x. So that's what we do. Y is greater than x. So out of these 3 situations, one can be true. Not all of them, right? Not few of them. Only one can be true at a given time. Actually, we have to evaluate 3 things: whether x is more than y, or x is equivalent to y, or y is more than x. ඒ තුනම අපි මෙතන කරලා තිනවා. අපි මේක run කරලා බලමු. So when you run this one, it will exactly give 5 is equivalent to equals to 5. 5 is equals to 5. දැන් අපි මේක වෙනස් කරමු. X is 15. So when x is 15, if I run now, x is greater than y. So 15 is greater than 5 කියලා print වෙනවා. Right? අපි අනිත් පැත්තට දාලා බලමු. Right? X is 5, y is 15. Now when I run, it will say, again it will say 15 is greater than 5. එතන ඒක print වෙනවා. Right? So නමුත් ඒක මෙහෙම තමයි print වෙන්නේ. මේ දෙකෙන් කරනවා. හරිද? ஓகே ஸோ கொட்டாஸ் துணක් එනකොට அதாவது 3 பகுதி வார நேரம் எப்படி செய்யறன்றது தான் அதை நான் செஞ்சு காட்டினேன். சரியா? ரைட் ஓකේ. සෝ අපි බලමු මේක තව දේවල් තියෙනවා. අද අපිට ක්ලාස් එක ඉවර කරන්න බෑ මේක. මම ඊගාව පොඩි කොටසක් කරලා නතර කරනවා දැන් මම. හරි. දැන් ඊට පස්සේ මම ඔයාලට කියලා දෙන්නේ nested if කරන විදිය. රයිට්. අපි ඒකත් බලලා අද ක්ලාස් එක නතර කරමු. විනාඩි 4ක් වගේ තියෙනවා. මම ප්‍රේ කරලා එන්නම් වීඩියෝ එඩිටින් අපිට පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. රයිට් ඕකේ. අපි බලමු ඊගාව කොටස. මම ඔයාලට කියලා දෙන්න යන්න දැන් nested if. Nested if කියලා කියන්නේ. So nested if means inside if condition we write another if condition. So when one is true, at the same time we check another condition is it true. හරිද? Okay. So අපි ඒකට variables දෙකක් ගමු. නැවතත් x equals 10. I'm sorry, x is assigned the value 10. Y is assigned the value 5. හරිද? මෙන්න මේ values දෙකක් ගන්න. We are taking two values. Now we tried if, okay, no big deal, right? If x is greater than 2, okay, x is greater than 2, we check. If x is greater than 2, okay, if x is greater than 2, then I want to check x is less than or equal to 10 also. Then again I can type if x less than or equals to 10. So the second criteria also written. Now I'm going to type print. I will tell f x is greater than 2 and less than or equal to less than y. Less than or equal to. Right? So when you run this, now let's see. So it says 10 is greater than 2 and less than or equal to 5. 10 is greater than, yeah, x, yeah, and less than or equal to y. X less than or equal to 10, yes. Yeah, we are checking only x, right? X is greater than 2 and less than or equal to y. Y නෙවෙයි මෙතන x. Again we have to use x there. X නෙවෙයි මෙතන දානවා 10 දානවා. that equals to 10. Then හරි. මොන බලන්න. So this 10 is greater than 2 and less than or equal to 2. මම ඒක ඔයාලට ලබන සතියේ තව පොඩ්ඩක් කරලා පෙන්නනවා. நான் வார வீக் திருப்பி செஞ்சு காட்டுறேன் எப்படி இதில் அடுத்தடுத்த வேலைகள் செய்கிற அப்படின்னு சொல்லி இன்னும் இன்றைக்கு நாங்கள் ஒரு 1.5 chapter செஞ்சுருக்கோம் நாங்கள். We have done ඒකනේ එක හමාරක් කරා ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් ඕගොල්ලන්ට කියලා දුන්නා ඒක ඉවර කරා. ඒතර කන්ඩිෂන්ස් මම පටන් ගත්තා ඒකේ 70ක් විතර කරලා දෙන තව පොඩි කොටසක් තියෙනවා කරලා කියලා දෙන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට ලොජිකල් ඔපරේටර්ස් තියෙනවා කරන්න. ඒකත් එක්ක මට මේක ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් එක්සැම්පල් එකක් දෙකක් මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කියලා දෙන්න. එතකොට කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි වලට. හරිද? ඕකේ. අපි දැන් අපි මේ ෆයිල් එක වලට ෂෙයා කරන්න යන්නේ මම. right okay. Asmat has put interesting, don't know why. Okay, right. I hope you find it interesting. Thank you. Right. Let me share the files to you quickly. Right. F drive live වෙන්න එපා 28 වලට බහලා තියෙන account එක. අද කරපු examples දෙක මම දෙනවා functions and conditionals. ලබන සතිය ආපහු දෙනවා conditionals file එක. හරිද? right. So ඒ files දෙක අරගෙන practice කරන්න දැන්. right. අපි time එක අදට ඉවරයි 7:30. එතකොට අපි තව විනාඩි 5කින් 6කින් මම පටන් ගන්නවා video editing class එක. මේකේ video editing ළමයි ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ class එකට join වෙන්න මම දැන් pray කරලා ඊගා class එකට join in now. Okay. God bless you all. See you in the next class. Bye.